Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV with me, Paul Alster. It's great to have you with us. I'm always looking for decent priced runners each way, of course, and that's the name of the game really at Sportsbet TV. So if you're new to the service, just press the subscribe button to get all my free bulletins, and you can decide for yourself whether or not you agree with my analysis and are interested in backing what I suggest. Well, it's a chilly weekend. As you can tell by my Captain Bird's Eye jumper I've got on here. But we're looking forward to some great racing, and I've got selections for you at Ascot and Haydock, two selections. Last week I just gave the one, that was Garrel Road, who ran a very good race indeed at Cheltenham to be second. I suggested him, I think, at 13-2 each way, or was it 6? I can't remember now. And he just found one too good. That whole meeting was extraordinary at Cheltenham. One thing for all followers of Sportsbet TV, there's a rule that is hard and fast that if the favourites win, we generally don't. And at Cheltenham last week, over the 3 days, there was an unusually high proportion of winning favourites and second favourites. Those that followed the head of the market would have made good money. The bookies took a bit of a caning, but of course it's just swings and roundabouts. That's how it goes. And there's bound to be a few surprises, I'm sure, along the way this weekend. If you're interested in 4 more selections on Saturday and probably at least 2 more on Sunday, why not take a look at my Out in Front subscription service at Patreon, the link for which you can find in the description box just below this screen. It's great value, and we've shown terrific profits over the seasons and calendar years, as we have too here at Sportsbet, even though there have been periods of ups and downs, sometimes lengthy ups and lengthy downs, but it's playing the long game and sticking to your guns that always counts. Well, my first shot is going to be at Ascot on Saturday for you. This is the 2:05 race. It is the longest race of the season at Ascot, the 3-mile, 5-furlong Berkshire National Handicap Chase. They're forecasting the ground as good to soft in places, an 11 run. This is a race for thorough stayers because the gradual climb of the final mile from Swindley Bottom is sure to expose any stamina flaws in horses, even on what is relatively decent ground for the time of year. Well, on early betting, Hills made Beauport for Nigel Twiston-Davies a marginal 9-2 favourite. It is a very open race despite the 8-year-old running for the first time in over 7 months. He was favourite for his reappearance last season at Ascot, which was in the 3-mile Sodexo Gold Cup at this track, but he could only finish 5th. However, he, of course, went on to win the 4.25-mile Midlands National at Uttoxeter, advertising his stamina. Horse isn't the most consistent, though, Beauport. He pulled up either side of that great win at Uttoxeter. So I feel he is worth taking on this time, given that he was beaten first time out when favourite at this track last season. A very popular staying chaser is Kitty's Light for Christian Williams, a horse with quite a fan club, a very consistent horse in marathon contests, ideally suited by decent ground. So he ran as Stormer on the soft ground at Aintree in April when he was 5th in the Grand National, just didn't quite manage to keep it going from the final fence. He had an inadequate 3 miles against him on both starts so far this season, where he's been beaten a long way, and combined total of 112 lengths has been beaten. But now he's stepping up 5 furlongs. He's had those 2 runs to put him right, and he may do better. Although in my mind, Kitty's Light is a horse that really is a spring horse, really. But he has the potential off this mark to go well. Fortescue for Henry Daly has yet to win beyond 3 miles, which is a slight concern, but he does stay. His last success came in a listed handicap chase at this track back in February of 2022. He was second over almost this trip in the last fling chase at Haydock last winter, where it was pretty attritional conditions. And his reappearance second to Copperhead at Aintree last month was very encouraging, so he should play his part here. Slipway for Ben Pauling, only weakened late on last week at Cheltenham in the cross-country chase. He finished 5th, and if he's none the worse for those efforts, he's another who enters calculations. While last season's Sussex National winner Dom of Mary, trained by David Bridgewater, makes his return to action following a break and a breathing operation. And Art Deco for Robert Walford ended last term with a hat-trick of lower level, staying handicap chase wins, and we'll learn more about him as he takes on better horses this time. My selection, though, is a horse that Lucinda Russell sends all the way down on the long journey to Ascot from central Scotland. This is Inish Orr, trained by Lucinda and the Mount of Alan Doyle. And doubtless connections will be hoping that this marathon round trip, and it is a very long way in wintry weather, is going to prove worthwhile. The 7-year-old hacked up in the Edinburgh National at Musselburgh in February. He slammed Enrillo by 21 lengths, the decent ground that day being very much in his favour. He fell at halfway in the Scottish National at Ayr, where he looked less comfortable going left-handed, and in 2 runs since returning from his summer break has shaped well, just over 3 miles, finishing 3rd at both Perth in September and then over the 3 miles at Carlisle last month. Now, Alan Doyle's a capable rider, another who's had his ups and downs and a few career blips. He claims £5, which could come in really handy. And this horse likes to bowl along, so I think he's going to give a bold sight, and you'll see him right up there racing prominently. If he isn't, then you'll know he's going to struggle. I think that he could have a lot of these under pressure turning for home, especially if there's no significant deterioration in the ground, because he likes decent ground. Inish Orr is 6-1 each way, with William Hill on their early betting. They were the first firm up, and I think that's a pretty fair assessment. And my second selection for you on Saturdays in another staying chase, it's the finale at Haydock, the 340. It's a handicap chase over very nearly 3¼ miles. It's probably going to be around good to soft ground, and there are 11 runners. Well, in 5 runs last season, Paul Nicholls, Take Your Time, won 3 and pulled up twice. So he's something of a hit and miss performer. If he's on song for this seasonal return, he should go well under Freddie Ginchel, and any ease in the ground will be in his favour. He did win first time out last term. He's just a bit inconsistent for my liking. On his day, the Venetia Williams-trained Fontaine Collonges is a decent staying handicap chaser. He showed that on Boxing Day last year when he landed the decent Roland Merrick handicap chase at Wetherby. He slammed a good horse called Empire Steel by 14 lengths. He was well beaten on his only other start when he was 5th in the Marathon Grade 3 Classic chase at Warwick, won by My Silver Lining, but that day he probably didn't get home over 3 miles 5 furlongs. He hasn't been seen since January. The yard of Venetia Williams was fairly quiet until Friday afternoon, when I had a couple of winners last time I looked at Ascot, so it looks like they've turned the corner. My Silver Lining, who beat Fontaine Collonges at Warwick, well, this has pulled up on her first run of this season at Cheltenham, which is a bit of a concern. She needs to do better here. An extra few furlongs will probably be a little bit more to her liking. Now, 2 years ago, this very weekend, Lamilish won the Coral Gold Cup Handicap Chase, the race older racing fans still refer to as the Hennessy Gold Cup. And despite a few good efforts in the interim, he hasn't managed to get his head in front since. The Dan Skelp trained top weight here ran well for a long way at Cheltenham, though, last month. He only got tired after 3 out, should strip much fitter, and enters calculations, as too does Credo for Anthony Honeyball, who could be dangerous following his reappearance 3rd at Wincanton, where he only faded from the final fence, and he should be bang there this time. My selection, though, is another horse trained right up in the north. The horse is Dare to Shout, trained by the veteran handler Anne Hamilton and the mount of Danny McMenamin. He gets the vote, does Dare to Shout, arriving here in good form. Won at Carlisle over 2½ miles just under 3 weeks ago. That victory had followed a close second on his seasonal reappearance at Hexham, both those runs coming in novice handicap chases. So the handicapper really hasn't had too much chance to assess this horse over fences against really good handicappers. He's stepping up now to tackle some much better horses. He's also moving up significantly in trip from 2½ miles to nearly 3¼ But on his only start, over hurdles, over 3¼ miles, he failed by only half a length to land the spoils, and he was running really well at the finish, coming back at the eventual winner. Now, with veteran trainer Anne Hamilton Small String going really well this season, she doesn't have many horses. Most of them, I think, if not all, run in her own name. I think she's a permit holder. She has actually won with 5 of her 15 runners. So a 33% strike rate, a rate at which full professional trainers would give their eye teeth. She'd also gone very close with a number of others. So I'm anticipating a big run from this rangy 7-year-old grey who appears to me to be on the upgrade. This is by far his stiffest task to date, but at around 8-1 each way for 4 places with Bet365 and Betfred, last time I looked, I'm hoping Dare to Shout is going to prove up to the challenge. So those are my 2 selections for you on Saturday, both in the staying chases at Ascot and Haydock. If you're interested to hear what I think about 4 more races across Haydock and Punchestown tomorrow, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description box. You can join up with full membership at Out in Front, or you can pay as you go for a £5 a throw at the website as well. So that's it. I wish you very good luck, whatever you're going to back this weekend, and let's hope the weather doesn't intervene at any stage. It would be good to have a clear run and get some proper form in the book. Bye-bye for now.